Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for everybody to come in. Readjust my camera a little bit so that we can see. Hi, Pam. Hi. Okay. So I'm going to review a little bit. And then we're going to make this flower, and I have two different kinds of leaves. We'll make this little project. I have some big leaves. Actually, they would want to go like this, and we'd cut off the stem a little bit. And I have some little leaves, just like that, and they go all the way up the What happened? I'm black. What happened? Oh, there I am. So, okay, I'm gonna start quilling. I'm gonna review. You hold your tool in the upper palm of your hand with your ring finger and your pinky, and you roll your tool with your other three fingers. Hi, Stacy. And then you insert the paper into the slot, remembering that there's a right side and a wrong side to the paper, and you can tell by the feel. This way feels rough, this way feels smooth. You want the rough side on the inside, whether you're quilling towards you or away from you. So, because I quill away from me, I want the rough side facing down. And I'm going to start with a little review of making a loose coil. Give it a little pinch, let it unwind. And that's a loose coil. Add a little drop of glue, and that's your loose coil. I will roll another one. And this time we'll turn it into a teardrop. Okay. So I'm just going to roll, roll, roll. Give it a pinch. Let it go. Let it go. Won't hold back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Okay, and the way we make a teardrop is right where the seam is, where we just glued it. We want that to be hidden. And that's where we pull the center to the top and we pinch the bottom. Pinch the bottom, and that is our teardrop. I will roll one more. like this. I will let it uncoil. I will glue it. And now I'm going to make a marquise. A marquise is a shape. A marquis is a noble person. A marquise, we leave the center in the center and we pinch both ends. And we've made, some people call it an eye piece and other people call it a marquise. That's a marquise. From this loose coil, I'll roll another one. Yeah, that's, no, I will roll another piece of paper, another quilling strip. From the loose coil, we can make a teardrop, which I've shown you. And then from that teardrop, we can make a paisley. Let it unwind. So again, we want to camouflage where that seam is. So we want to make a paisley. We're going, whoops, camouflage where that seam is. So we pull the center to one side, leave the coils there. We pinch to make the teardrop. There's the teardrop. Now to make a paisley, hold that center and bend your end over. Bend the end of the teardrop over. And there's your paisley. We made the marquise. Now we'll make the crescent. I'll roll one more. I will roll one more strip. Okay, Pam. Hi, Marty. My martini weenie. And we let it uncoil. We glue the end. Now again, we want to camouflage where that seam is so that it doesn't show in our project. So we want to make the pinch of the crescent right where that seam is, and then on the other side as well. Make sure your center is centered. Your center is centered. Yes, that sounds funny, but it really is. Make sure your center is centered. You get your thumbs up in there and you pull down. And now you've made a crescent. So those are the basic shapes. And today with the basic shapes, I want to show you how to make this pretty little flower. And you can make it with the smaller pieces. For those of you that want to try the smaller things, and I'll show you how. Or we can make it with the larger pieces and make it with 2 leaves 2 leaves, or we can make it with the 3 leaves. So you want to get your simple quilling tool out. You will not need your curling coach unless, like me, you like your tight coil to be completely flat. I set the tight coil down on a hard surface and then press this on top of it to make it flat. You need your wax paper. You're going to need some white strips, and these are 6 inches long, I believe. Let me double check that. And they are, well, they're 6.5 inches long. 6.5 inches long. You're going to need 7 6.5 inch long strips of white paper. Okay, and we'll make the bigger leaves for Marty. You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of green for the leaves for the smaller ones, and they are going to be, I believe, 4, 4.25, 4.25, somewhere there, inches long. And for the stem, we're going to take one of those extra 4.5, 4.25 inch long pieces. We're going to fold it in half and glue it together to make a stem. We're going to take another one of those extra 4 to 4.25 inch large pieces, and we're going to roll a tight coil to make the center of the flower. So, is everybody ready to get started with our little project, our little review? We had a little review of our basic shapes, our tight coil, our loose coil, the teardrop, the paisley, then the marquee, and the crescent. You can let your flower center be yellow. Your flower center can be whatever color you want it to be. You don't even need to use white petals for a daisy. You can use pink petals for a coneflower and make your center be brown. I just thought these were the easiest colors. Yay, Pam! I thought these were just the easiest colors to come up with that would show really well against my background here. That's all. Okay, so Pam, we're going to get started with our little project. I'll go over the measurements again. For the white petals, you're going to need 7 6.5 inch long pieces of paper, white strips. Okay. For the stem, you'll need 1 4.25 inch piece of paper, 4-inch, 4.25 inch piece of paper, fold it in half, and that will eventually become our stem. You're going to need several pieces of paper, depending on whether you want to make several smaller leaves along your stem or just a couple of bigger leaves on your stem. Either way, you're going to need, well, if you're going to go with the bigger leaves, you want a 6-inch strip of paper. two of them, two 6-inch strips of paper. If you want the smaller leaves, you need the 4.5-inch strips of paper. Yellow petals with a brown center. Yes, that's a black-eyed Susan. And you'll also need one of these green strips at the 4.25 inch length to make the center of your flower. It can be yellow, it can be green, it can be whatever color you want it to be. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is remember what the right side and the wrong side of the paper is. And remember the wrong side from where the machine cuts the paper creates a concave effect to the edges ever so slightly curl up. Now, I don't know if I can get this close enough to you that you would be able to see it. You need good glasses. But if you can't see it, you can feel it. You rub it across your finger and you can feel the ridges. Hi, Angela. How are you? Welcome, welcome. You can feel the ridges. And on the other side, it's just nice and smooth. You want the ridges side on the bottom. It'll create a much smoother shape for you. So if you quill away from you, your ridges side is going to be underneath. And if you quill towards you, your ridges side will be facing you to keep it in the center so that your smooth side is always showing. So I didn't tear my end on this one. Let me tear the end. We're going to start quilling. We're going to start, woohoo, we start our project. Well, I can't do this in the camera. I need to do it with my real eyes. Here we go. We're going to twirl. It will be tight at first. We're going to twirl and twirl and twirl. Then we're going to remove it, squeeze it to flatten it out a little bit, and gently release. And it makes a coil. If you don't glue it, that's an open coil. If you glue it, it's a loose coil. Tiny drop of glue. Okay, now to make a petal, we're going to do the marquise. We're going to make the marquise shape. So we want to disguise the edge. So we want that to be at a point. We want the center to remain in the center, the eye to remain in the center, and we're going to pinch both edges, just like that. And it makes a marquise shape. When you're making the petal of a flower, it gets to be a little too fat, so you gently press the center as well. And look, it makes a little spiral, a little oblong spiral in there when you do that. So now that you've seen me make one, go ahead and make your 7 petals, and I'll do them right along with you. Making sure, yep, there's the edges on the bottom. Making sure you've got the right side of the paper facing the right way. It looks like an eye. That's exactly this, what it's called. That's the second name. It's either an eye or a marquise. wet coil. Some glue on. Make a marquise. Come back here. Marquise and slightly pinch in the middle. This is not something you want to do while watching TV. You can do it while listening to TV, but you really want to pay close attention to make sure your strips are not all wibbly wobbly or willy wonky. You want them to be nice and clean, even smooth discs. It winked at you. Okay, there's a marquee and then a squish in the middle. There's 3 petals. Yes, I have one that has both. I have one here that has inches and centimeters on the other side, centimeters and millimeters on the other side. That's right, Stacy. Then unwind. Tiny drop of glue. Make a marquise and make the marquise wink. Yes, a torn edge always lays smoother than a crisp cut scissor edge, but you're going to find that there are some quillers that prefer to cut their edges. I'm not sure why, but they do. All the tips you can get. Oh, last week when I said your circle template quilling board, your circle board, hold on a second, let me get it. This board was useless. I should clarify that and make sure you understand. I feel it's useless. That is my opinion. I have yet to get it so that I could make those triangles and squares and half circles work. I do it with my fingers and it's fine, especially when you have all kinds of different shapes and sizes. I mean, sizes of shapes that you're working with. So I said this is useless and you might as well throw it away. That's my opinion. That is just my opinion. They make these boards for a reason and people do use them. I'm not one of them. So I just wanted to clarify that. I just wanted to clarify that. That is my opinion. I did say that last week. Okay. I wasn't sure. I watched the replay and I wasn't sure. I didn't remember that I said it. I didn't see that I said it, so I wanted to make sure of that. Any and all of these instructions and whatever that I'm giving you, these feelings, this is my way of doing it. These are just my opinions. I just want everybody to understand that. Okay, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, got one more to go. Okay, so let me make an eye and make the eye wink. Ta-da! Yes, the crimping tool is pretty neat. Okay. All right. Now that all 7 petals are made, all right, here again, there's the seam that I just made, and I tore my end, but you want to camouflage it in the point. Always at a point somewhere where you can camouflage it and it doesn't show. So I'm going to make the last petal here. I'm going to make the eye and make the eye wink. There we go. Slightly pinch. All right, I have all 7 of my petals, and I'm going to arrange them like I have done here in this sample one. All the tips are going to connect. They're all going to touch. Oops, it stayed stuck to me. Just a little dot of glue. A little dabble do ya. Hi, Beth. Okay. One more to add in there, that little point. One more. And there's my 7 petals put together. Work on the leaves later. Now we want to add the center of the flower. This one's green. Can't really see it. So I'm actually going to go with Marty's choice, and I'm going to make it yellow. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to cut a piece of yellow, 4 1/4 inch, 4 1/4 inch, piece of yellow. I didn't cut that end, so I'm going to stick it on the inside. I mean tear. I didn't tear that end, so I'm going to stick it on the inside so it doesn't show. And I'm going to roll a tight coil, which means you hold it in place, add a dab of glue, and if you have extra glue, you can spin it around and around and around. Let the glue go all the way around. Take it off. I like mine to be really flat on the surface, so I'm going to take my curling coach and press down on it And now I have a really, really flat surface. And I'm going to put a drop of glue right on the center of the flower. And add this little tight coil right in the center as the center of the flower. We're going to put it right on top. Now with Beth, I made a sample forget-me-not sample flower, and there was a hole in the center, so we had to make that tight coil the size of the hole in the center of the flower. This one doesn't matter. It can be whatever size you want it to be, really. And it just lays right on top. You need a drink? Okay, you go get a drink. Okay. Now, Beth, I have two types of leaves here because some of the people like to work or like to be able to see. And these leaves are actually made with really small components, really small marquise and a really small crescent, two of them. So I've made these larger leaves that are teardrops so that Marty can see them. Show a small leaf while she's gone. Okay, I can do that. A small leaf is while she's gone. A small leaf is made with a 4.5, 4.25 rather, not 4.5, 4.25 inch strip. You roll it, give it a good pinch so that it smooths out. Let it uncoil. It's very small. Let it uncoil. Let it uncoil. Glue it down. And make a marquise. But don't pinch the center. Make a marquise, but don't pinch the center. We're leaving this as a leaf. We're not going to make a petal out of it, so don't pinch the center, just your ends. Okay, so there's a marquise. And now we're going to make 2 crescents. So again, we're going to start with the tight coil. Always starts with a tight coil that we let uncoil and then glue in place. So now we have a loose coil that we're going to make a shape out of. And again, going to keep that seam at the point where we pinch so that it camouflages it. We're going to take our thumbs and we're going to push up in the center, and with our pointer fingers we're going to pull down on the outside, and that makes this crescent, only much smaller. And we need 2 of those, so I will roll another one. And I didn't tear that end, so I'm going to put it on the inside so that the torn end will glue down smoothly. Let it unwind. And I'm going to make another crescent. So our smaller leaf is actually made with a lot more components than the big leaf. Okay, our smaller leaf is made with 2 crescents and a marquise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 crescent add glue to the inside, the concave side. I'm going to add the marquise with one point meeting at the bottom, and you'll see that it doesn't quite meet at the top. That's perfect. I'm showing them the small leaves, Marty, while you're getting something to drink. And then you add the crescent to the other side. Whoops, with the point meeting at the bottom. But again, you can see it doesn't meet at the top. That's okay. That's that little fringy part of the leaf at the top. That's what you want. And that is your small leaf. Just like that. And that's what it would look like on your flower if you use the small leaves. Well, actually, Marty, that is one way to make buds. That is one way to make buds. You would use a longer strip of paper and they would be longer, and again, you don't pinch the center of the marquise, you just pinch the outsides. All right, so now what we're going to do is see how on the wax paper it still sticks a little bit, but then you can easily remove it. You wouldn't be able to do that if you put it right on a piece of paper right away. So that's why we work on the wax paper. Okay, the green leaves. Where did my green go? Where did the green go? There's the green. I'm going to start with a 6.5-inch piece of paper, just like I did with the petals. Did I tear both ends? I did. I tore both ends. Okay. Do I have the right side of the paper facing up? Yes, I do. We're going to twirl the 6.5-inch piece of paper. We'll let it uncoil. Glue. And we're going to disguise the seam by making the pinch. We're going to make a little teardrop by making the pinch right where the seam is. And there, we've made a leaf. Now, if you want to make a bigger leaf, then use a bigger piece of paper. I think to make this leaf, I used this piece of paper, which is 8.5 inches long. So if I roll this away from me, and I let it uncoil. Hi, Jessie. Oh, I'll show you, Angela, how to do the center of the flower. You make a teardrop, you pull it to this end. There, and that's how you make a bigger leaf. Just use a longer piece of paper to make a longer, bigger leaf. The center of The center of the flower is a tight coil. So it's with a 4¼ piece of paper, 4¼ inch piece of paper. You make a tight coil, so first you roll it. Put a dab of glue on it, hold it in place. And then that's it, you're done. Now if you really want it flat on top, press it down underneath your curling coach and it'll make a flat button for you. Okay, so we've made the leaves. Made all kinds of leaves here. Now let's make a stem. We're going to take, let me just make sure I have the measurement correct. One of your 4½, I keep saying 4½, it's not, it's 4¼ one of your 4¼ inch pieces of paper, and you're going to fold it in half. And you're going to put ever so slight amount of glue. That's a little too much. Let me take some of that off. And glue it together so that it becomes a little bit firmer than just one flimsy piece of paper. Now we've got a glued piece of paper, so adding the glue and adding another strip of paper just creates a firmer stem. The part that was folded is the part you want to leave out. The part that was torn, your torn edges that meet up, that's what you want to put inside the flower to disguise the torn ends. You want to put that inside the flower that way. So you just put a dot of glue inside the flower. Now, if you want to use bigger leaves, I already showed you how to make those bigger leaves. Like that. Or you can use the smaller leaves. Like that. And you've made your first project. You've made your first flower, and we've used everything except the paisley. If you want your leaves to have a little bit of character to them, you can make them into a partial paisley and take your tip of your leaf and bend it, not quite to a paisley, but add a little bit of character to it, and you can have leaves that curl a little bit. And I kind of like them when they do that, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to give them a little bit of character. Ah, I broke my strips before I came on and I forgot all about that. Thank you for reminding me, Stacy. Breaking your strips means breaking down the fiber. Breaking your paper means breaking down the fiber so that it moves more freely. Because sometimes if you use a firmer cardstock of paper, your circles will crimp on you this way, and they won't make pretty circles. So if you break your paper, just like you would if you were doing curling ribbon, only not as hard, because you don't want your paper to curl. It will definitely curl like that. You just do it ever so gently. Now your paper is more pliable and it will curl for you much better. And so there's my leaves with a little bit of character. I like them like that, and I like them small like this. It goes like that, and that one goes like that, and that goes like that, like that. I didn't break down with you? What does that mean, Marty? Some paper, like my white paper, is, you can tell, is very definitely a cheaper piece of paper because watch. I can easily squinch it and tear it and break it and wrinkle it. It's very flimsy. It's not a very heavyweight piece of paper. I don't have to break those down because they're already flimsy enough that you can just curl. Oh, you're right, I didn't break them. So with the good paper, you can see how firm it is. It stays straight even though I'm holding it at one end. It stays straight even though I'm holding it at one end. It doesn't go it doesn't go limp. So what you want to do is you want to hold it. Now, you can use a ruler. You can use your finger. I personally like to just use my finger. That way it prevents me from turning it into a curled ribbon because it will curl on you if you're not careful. See, and it kind of gently curls one way. Then you turn it over and do the other way and it straightens it back out. And now it's a little bit more flimsy, a little bit more limp. I'm holding it at the end, but the paper is bending down towards the cork board. I don't know about that. Timu, it depends on the weight of the paper. It's if you can hold on to the tip of your paper after breaking it down, after cutting it down to about, I don't know, a 10-inch, an 8 or a 10-inch piece of paper, and you can hold on to it and it doesn't start to lean down towards your corkboard, that's a pretty good weight paper, and you will have to break it down. Yours is cheap, cheap, cheap. Okay. So, and sometimes I do it once or twice. Sometimes I do it once, sometimes I do it twice. Cheep, cheep, cheep. Cheep, 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 little. Cheep a little, dog a little, dog a little, cheep a little. Um, Now, if you'd like, time is it? Yeah, 15 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Where is my brown? My brown is right here. I'm going to do this with Beth on Thursday, too. I'm going to show how to make a flower pot with triangles, which is a shape we haven't learned yet. I know that song, too. Oklahoma. That rhymes with C, and that starts with P, and that rhymes with poo. The Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the... Okay, so I'm going to take this longer strip of paper, which is... I don't even know how long these are. This is an older piece of paper. This is 18... 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 inches. Oh, so 3 8-inch pieces of paper. So let me get to the 8. 3 8-inch pieces of paper. And going to wind. Wait, no, I gotta do it from this end. Wind the paper. Let it uncoil. Glue the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. We're going to make the first point of the triangle. We're going to make a teardrop. We're going to camouflage. We're going to camouflage where we made that seam. We're going to pinch there for the first point of the triangle. Then at the bottom, we're just going to put the coil in between our fingers and just the outer edges of paper we're going to pinch. And again on the other side, just the outer edges of paper. If you need to pull some out of the way, go right ahead and pinch. So now you've made a triangle. There's one part. Oops, let me pull it up a little bit so that you can see there's one part of the flower pot. You make 2 more triangles just like that. Tear that end. Let it uncoil. A little drop of glue. Really, that's all it takes. Some people use so much glue and they get glue everywhere and little glue bits on their paper, on their project, and it really takes hardly any glue at all. So we take one little pinch there, one little pinch there, one little pinch there, and we've made another triangle. So we'll put it there, and we'll make the third part. Okay, that's already torn. A Pokemon. Oh no, not difficult at all. Not difficult at all. This is just a flat pot. I showed Beth how to make a pansy, and making the pansy, you use your thumbs and you make a little indentation in the petals. To make a 3-dimensional pot, you coil lots and lots and lots and lots of strips of paper together. Okay. There's that. All right, so there's the other side, and now you have got yourself a cute little flower pot. Or if you want the wider part on the other side, like that. And now you just glue the little triangles together and you've made yourself a little flower pot. Just like that. Now, if you're just laying this down on a flat piece of paper, that's fine. But if you're making it three-dimensional to go inside of a flower pot, that stem is obviously way too long and the weight of it will topple over. So you need to make your stem a little bit shorter. So that was our little project. We made a little daisy flower. We reviewed our basic shapes. I added in a new shape, a little triangle. So that was our basics for today and last week. And next week, I'll go into some of the other tools on how to use them and incorporate them into making some flowers. Or I might even show you how to make a ladybug. Ooh, wouldn't that be cute? So that's all for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed your little tutorial, your little lessons. And I hope to see you on Beth's live on Thursday so we can finish up her flower pot and her stems and petals and flower pots. Oh, you're very, very welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It was my pleasure. I'm already doing quilling for this season anyway, so this doesn't cause me any stress or any grief at all. I love doing this. Oh, good. I'm glad you thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun too. Have a lovely weekend. Today's only Tuesday. Don't confuse me. I already woke up in a panic this afternoon, earlier this evening, I should say. I woke up from a nap. It was 5:45. I went, oh no, I've got to be live with Beth. I was thinking it was Thursday. Today's only Tuesday. Stacy, thank you for being my secretary and pointing out all the extra tips. I'm glad you paid attention last week. That was great. No, you said weekend. It says have a lovely weekend, all, Marty. That's okay. Autocorrupt. Yep. Autocorrect is corrupted. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope to see everybody next week, and we'll have some new tools and some new lessons, and we'll get to it. In the meantime, I'll see you in chat somewhere around, but bye for now, meow.